Welcome back, Athlos artists, to day 2 of our Frida Kahlo Symbolic Self-Portrait project. Before we get into the actual symbols, I do want to really quickly review, since it has been an entire day since you started. Hopefully by now, what you have is just your face drawn on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be any kind of specific style. It doesn't have to be realistic. Just somehow have your face. And now today we're going to be putting stuff in the background, some symbols. So review though, what is a self-portrait? We talked about how that can be a realistic version of the artist, but it can also be just symbols, and both can be self-portraits somehow representing the artist themselves. What is a symbol? We talked about how that is something that means something else. So Frida using that thorn necklace and the dead hummingbird and the spider monkey and the black cat to represent and symbolize her pain of losing the love of her life. And then the third one is, what is Frida Kahlo the queen of? We mentioned how she is considered the queen of self-portraits because like over 40%, so almost half of her paintings that she had made over her lifetime were self-portraits. So now that you have that and we did a quick little review, try thinking of what are some things that define you or are really important to you, and how can you turn that into a symbol? So for me, some things you saw with the last one, how I had the 4-leaf clovers because I'm Irish, that's my heritage, or my main heritage. I'm a mix, but that's a big part of it because of Macader. And I wanted to somehow symbolize my family, because although I'm not really connected to Ireland itself, I'm really, really connected to my family, and I wanted to somehow symbolize how connected I am to them. And then in the other one, I use the symbol of the Lake Superior to symbolize or represent my hometown and the idea of moving and leaving from it. So if you really like a certain sport, you can put anything, like any paraphernalia from that sport in the background. So I know that my brothers are very, very into soccer, and so they would probably put either their team colors in the background, or they could draw some soccer balls, maybe some nets in the background, anything like that. If you really enjoy makeup, maybe like me, what you could do is you could put some makeup brushes in the background, or you could do different, maybe makeup artists that you really like, their names in the background. If you are, I don't know, if you're really a fan of any kind of hobby, or if there's people in your life that are super important, so kind of again, how my family is a huge part of who I am, so I wanted to put them in the background. You can think of someone that's important to you and put symbols of them in the background. So some of my best friends really, really like things like Doctor Who and Harry Potter, and so I could put symbols of them in the background to represent my friendship with them. So just think right now, again, just like I said with the self-portrait or the picture of your face, this can be as realistic or as cartoony as you like, which is whatever you're comfortable with. The reason I like doing this project is because it has us have a chance to kind of think about who we are. During middle school, and especially like high school, a lot of what you're doing is kind of deciding like, who am I? Where do I fit? Like, who am I on my own, rather than just maybe just your parents, but who am I by myself? And so things like self-portraits give you a chance to really think about that and consider that. Like, who am I? Who do I want to be? When I was around your age, I did a lot of self-portraits because I was trying to figure out, well, who am I? Who do I want to be when I'm growing up? And that's when I realized how much I wanted to be a teacher, because I was doing all these self-portraits and I started to notice how making art and then showing others how to make art was a really common theme in a lot of my self-portraits, and that kind of helped me figure out where I am today. And so you can just kind of play around, doesn't have to be realistic. I will see you next week for the next art adventure. Never stop creating.